I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, April the 21st, brought to you in part by Talieve by Norbrook. Talieve has unbreakable news. It's a ready-to-use, single-shot, low-dose, generic Draxxin that covers a wide range of cattle diseases, and it's exclusively in plastic bottles, so you don't have to worry about them breaking. For more information, go to norbrook.com. And Norbrook also wants you to remember you need to start thinking about that June 11th. That's whenever they change the rules, and after that you're going to need a VCPR, which is a vet client patient relationship statement on file with your animal health product supplier. You're basically going to have a script for any kind of antibiotic, including penicillin, anything. So you might want to get in there and stock up on those products before that June 11th deadline. If you don't already have a VCPR, you need to be thinking about that because you don't want to get caught flat-footed. Can beef keep up with cattle? I realize that our cattle market is kind of moderated out here a little bit this week and taking a break. I do think it's going to continue to get higher because of just basic supply and demand. We don't have that many cattle that are ready for slaughter going on through May here quite a bit. So I think we've got a chance to keep it going if our negotiated sellers will just stick their feet in the ground and just demand higher prices. They kind of got lax here this week and let the packers get the best of them. But we've seen huge gains here for the last month. All-time record highs, plus $10 or $15. So we may not be making a lot of money because the inputs are so high and feed is so high, but still your cattle price is really high. Now your box beef cutout values, your wholesale beef prices, they were kind of going through a decline there over the past couple of months, but here in the last 10 days or 2 weeks they've come back and kind of forced a rally, which is normal this time of the year because you got more demand with people wanting to grill out, and then your retailers starting to get ready to have plenty of product on the shelves for your early summer holidays like Memorial Day and Mother's Day and things like that are coming up right around the corner. But how's this all going to work out? How high can they get the beef prices? Now, if you look at the daily livestock report that CME releases, which I look at pretty much every day, you notice the latest released showed that your retail beef prices have remained near a year ago levels. That's the retail beef prices in the stores, guys, have remained near a year ago levels despite higher wholesale prices here of late. That's come up here with this recent rally in your box beef cutout values. Now we're wondering if this will last. It doesn't take them very long to change things. They're not gonna fool around. They're not gonna give up their margin. What we'd really like in the cattle business is if we could take back a little bit of that middle money that your packers and your wholesalers and your retailers and all of them are making, because they're making more off of them within just a few days as what your cattle producers are making, keeping them a year or more there. But we're not expecting this to last. The retailers are most likely going to raise the retail beef prices, which is going to curb demand a little bit because some people just can't afford it. And for sure they're going to reduce the number of features and specials that they put on beef products, especially on these holiday weekends and things. That is going to lower the amount of sales there, the amount of usage, and then more than likely going to back things up a little bit. But export sales have also declined here of late. So, but we're just thinking that they're going to raise retail prices. That's going to curb demand. Demand has been outstanding, all the way through the pandemic and still to now. And there's a certain amount of people that are going to continue to put steaks on the grill. And I've said it many times, you don't settle bets on a chicken breast. And you might can settle breast with a pork chop, but it better be damn good. or else the guys are going to think that they kind of got screwed on the wager there. But you know, just be thinking about that. I still think that we've got a chance here for the next few weeks here to raise these fat cattle prices a little bit more. I said that they would get to $2 a pound. In fact, some of the guys that are selling on some of these sweetheart deals and some of the grid deals with the premiums, and they've got the kind of cattle. I've talked to guys that are getting cattle and selling them that way and coming back to a live price. They are selling for over $2 a pound, but we haven't seen that market reach that level yet. But you look at your board for Thursday, April live cattle futures were down $1.32. That is your spot month there. As those guys that are longest longs, they're wanting to get out because they don't want to get delivered upon. It's down to 174.10. Well, 174 is basically what they got in the Southern Plains after getting 175 on Wednesday. Well, you know, we thought the 175 being steady was disappointing enough, and then they're selling more of them at a lower level than that. So basically no basis there at all. June live cattle up 75 cents at 164.35. That's the one I've been thinking we need to get the hot shot after. It's coming up slowly, but it sure doesn't look like it's going to be a very advantageous spot month once we lose April, because that's going to be a huge basis there for your hedged cattle feeders to tend to want to jump on, and then that's going to kill them the price that we got for our fat cattle in our market position. So that by the time we lose April, that's what we're facing, guys, is that June live cattle that's trading so much below where your price levels are at right now. Your back months on live cattle were down 10 cents, which was the farthest out, to as much as 77 cents higher. Talk about April feeder cattle, they were up 35 cents at 205.02. May was up $1.87 at 212.35. That looks pretty handsome. August was up 275 at 229.52. That's the all-important, the most important feeder cattle traded month contract there, because so many of those cattle coming off grass are hinged on that. But your back months on your feeder cattle was up 85 to up to 275, which was August there. Look at your grains. May corn was down 8.5 cents at 663 3/4. December down 5.5. That helped your feeder cattle too at 557.5. May beans down 9 cents at 1497.5. November new crop beans down 8 cents at $13.50 a bushel. Talk about your fat cattle trade that kind of continued, but it's going to be less trade, guys. When prices are lower, there's less volume, and there's less volume because the prices are lower. Whenever there's more volume traded in a negotiated manner, prices are higher. Now, some of the analysts and some of the people that are against Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act, including NCBA, will argue with that and say that that's not the case, but it is. Every single time we have a lower market, there's less sales. It's just natural, guys. But Iowa had 6,400 confirmed sales on Thursday, only 14,600 head for the week so far. And I wouldn't say there's going to be a whole lot of Friday trade, guys, because they're not liking the market very good, and they're very, very current. In fact, they're green, especially up in the northern plains there. But your price range was basically from 181 to 183 in Iowa. There was 172.50 quoted on the bottom end of that spread. Who is going to sell cattle for 172.50 unless it's some kind of a deal where they're in a jam? You can haul them to about any sale barn that has a fat cattle auction. They're going to bring really close to 180 or better, but I can't believe that was quoted there, that 172.50 on the bottom of that price spread. But like I said, it was mostly 181 to 183. Dress sales were very good at 284 to 288. You bring that back to a decent dressing percentage, and you'd a whole lot rather sell dress basis there. Nebraska 7,100 head on Thursday, 17,400 head for the week, which is down for Nebraska and Iowa. The Northern Plains, much lighter trade than we saw the last couple of weeks. Live sales in Nebraska from 180 to 183. Dress sales from 284 up to 290. That's as high as we've had them, pretty much. We might have had a stick out deal here or there to a regional higher than that, but for a major, that's about as good as it got last week even. So our dress prices are not down that much. Kansas sold 2,100 head on Thursday, 11,100 head for the week. Live sales in Kansas ranged from 173 to 177. That's kind of disappointing. The weighted average in your 5-area feeding region is going to be quite a bit lower, guys, because there's going to be not near as much trade in the northern plains and then just lower prices everywhere. But a little bit of dress trade in northern Kansas at 286. Texas sold 1,000 head on Thursday, only 7,300 head for the week, and Thursday's sales were 174, where everything was 175 on Wednesday. Box beef cutout values were mixed, with choice higher, up $1.07 at $306.99 a hundred. Your select was down $2.72. Got a pretty wide choice select spread again there, which you would expect when we get to grilling season. But select cuts on Thursday afternoon were $288.74. Your slaughter running much better than last week or the same week a year ago at 502,000 through the first 4 days of the week. We're expecting maybe a few of the plants to drop off on the Friday kill, but it hasn't been making that much difference. We'll see if more of them do it this week. But 502,000 through the first 4 days of the week is pretty decent. That's 13,000 more than last week, 20,000 head more than the same week a year ago. Another fact that was bullish is that your actual slaughter information coming back for 2 weeks back had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 892 pounds. That's down 6 pounds. So, you know, they're killing cattle, but they're not getting as much product, guys. And they're going to have to ramp up slaughter to meet this demand if we have decent clearouts here as we're going through these early holiday weekends. Talk about what else is going on. Safeguard is the only dewormer in a both suspension and feed formulation. You can deworm your cattle at the chute, in the pasture, or in their feed. For more information, go to safeguardworks.com. Talk about what else, your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Thursday set at 203.71, basically steady or back up 8 cents. So it stopped going down. Had some really good sales on Thursday that's included in your real-time index, and so we're kind of holding things together. But of course, the fat cattle market not gaining big ground this week like it has for the last several weeks. Kind of stunted your feeder cattle market a little bit too. I'm coming to you here from Gainesville, Texas, where on Friday going to be having the Southern Reds production sale there. They got Red Angus and South Pole bulls and some females there too, starting at noon. Don't miss the Pitzer Ranch horse sales coming up this weekend. Friday they got a preview, and then Saturday going to be having the sale. But that's a really popular horse sale there that gains a lot of attention. But we've got 25 production sales here this Saturday. Things are actually kind of winding down. That's quite a bit fewer than what we've had here for the last couple of months here at DV Auction. But get on to dvauction.com, scroll through those sales and take a look at them and get approved so you can view and bid those sales if you want to. Also, if you like watching this report and you have trouble finding it and you don't know where to go to find it as quick as you'd like to, you can text the word flash to 209 Corbett or 209-267-2488, and you can have this video report texted to you every morning. No big deal. You just open that up. You can watch it every business morning. There's a feeder flash. Keep up with the cattle markets, guys. Talk about your big sales on Thursday. Winter livestock in Pratt, Kansas, 6,000 head, guys. It is super, super dry. There were some cattle coming off graze out wheat, the short wheat, and like I told you that I saw in Cherokee, Oklahoma, it was amazing how well those cattle did on the short wheat. When the wheat gets really rank, it goes right through them. When it's short, you think they're running out of feed, but they're actually doing pretty good on it. But your prices were mostly lower there, but man, there was big demand for those little light stalkers, guys, to turn out on grass. Where they're going to find that grass, I have no idea, but they sold those little stalker calves really high in Pratt on Thursday, including 77 head of 358-pound little doodler steers at $324. Wow. How about Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas, 4,300 head there for their sale. The steer calves there were high, just like they were in Pratt. They sold $4 to $8 higher. Heifer calves were $3 to $5 higher. Some of them stalker steers were 12 to 15 bucks higher, like nothing ever happened. But there was some pressure on the heavier weights, but they still sold some heavyweight steers pretty good, in my opinion. 63 steers in Salina, Kansas weighed 878 and bring 199.50. That's a big time quote. Your Zoetis stick out sale of the day was Ogallala Livestock Auction in Ogallala, Nebraska. They sell them good up there. 4,700 head, and they were well tested through a big range of weights, and I'm going to give you all of them. This is the market in the Northern Plains on top quality cattle, guys. Had 263 head of 4-weight steers in Ogallala, average 467, weighted average price 271.75. 456 head of 5-weight heifer or steer calves in Ogallala, average 544, average price 251.74. 549 head of 6-weight steers in Ogallala, average 640, average price 234.63, and 929 head of 7-weight steers, Ogallala, Nebraska, the average 753 pounds with a weighted average price of $219.90. Wow, that's impressive. How about some heifers? 369 head of 4-weight heifer calves, average 463, average price $246.17. 526 head of 5-weight heifers, average 554 pounds, average price $230.34. 306 head of 6-weight heifers had an average weight of 654 pounds and an average price of $215.02. And 472 head of 7-weight heifers, average 762 pounds in Ogallala, Nebraska on Thursday with a weighted average price of $189.21. I'm going to give you some stick out sales from all around the country. How about Bluegrass Stockyard South in Stanford, Kentucky? We broadcast all the Bluegrass barns here at DV Auction. They're good customers and good friends there. They sell them really good, especially this time of year where even though those cattle might not have a lot of hair, hey, that's even better when they're going to be fed, mostly in the Northern Plains, to be honest. That's where most of them go. The good cattle go to the Northern Plains. It's going to get hot up there too. Not going to bother those cattle at all. 122 head of steers in Stanford, Kentucky, averaged 859 pounds at $2 a pound right there, guys. That is big, big, that far east and south, guys. How about Mocan Livestock Market? My friends, the Herzogs there in Butler, Missouri. Their sale, doesn't feature big feeders like that, and likely not anybody real close by feeding those cattle. But I'm telling you, that Herzog meat market there, the packing plant that they have built right there on site, is helping the demand for big feeder cattle in their auction, because their customers come there. They've got local people feeding those cattle. They're feeding cattle, and they're coming there to find top quality feeders to make really top quality local beef. And 59 head of 968 pound steers in Butler, Missouri at Mocan Livestock Market bring 195 bucks. Wow. How about Eureka, Kansas? Eureka Livestock Sales is one of our newer broadcast markets there, and they're doing a good job. How about 53 head of steers weighed 811 pounds in Eureka, Kansas at $210.50. But the best quote that I saw anywhere, not even just for where it's at, but you got to take that into account, which makes it even better. But your Macrison, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Paris Stockyards in Paris, Kentucky. 120 heifers weighed 761 and bring $199. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.